is on the way for the Cowboys this Sunday as CeeDee Lamb is set to return against the Commanders. The Pro Bowl wide receiver has missed the last 3 games with a high left ankle sprain. How dangerous does Lamb's return make the Cowboys, Cam? And what advice do you have for Dak Prescott in the group?
Man, it's simple. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. I will say it again. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. Allow the defense to dictate where the football goes. When you allow talent to dictate where the football goes, now it leads to you forcing the football. The thing that has been marvelous to see from Daquavius Prescott in these last couple of weeks is how will he be able to manage and distribute the football? And he's been doing it off of the premise of the defense is in cover 2, I have to get to my check down if we got a shot call. Hey, the defense is in cover 3, let me give my guys an opportunity. Or they're in man-to-man, let me give my guys an opportunity. Hey, I'm hot, let me get to my check down. Those type of things, when you insert a CeeDee Lamb, his presence, his aura, his whole demeanor presents opposing threat, not just to defenders who's guarding him, but to the sideline when you look up and you say to yourself, man, it's been third quarter and he only got 1 reception or 2 receptions. Those type of issues go through your mind as a quarterback. And I just would tell Dak, man, bro, keep doing what you've been doing. You got another Maserati inserted into your garage, but you've been doing a hell of a job with that one Rolls Royce and those doggone Priuses and doggone excursions and Escalades. That's cool. They quality, and they've been giving you a lot, and that's what you would expect.
I think you have to allow both the defense and talent to dictate where the ball goes. And when Cam says the defense, he's saying you throw the football to where the defense's weaknesses are. But sometimes there are one-on-ones with George Pickens that are your matchup. That talent dictates that. There are going to be one-on-ones with CeeDee Lamb where talent dictates that. I said coming into the season that this was the second best wide receiver quarterback trio in all of football. And without Joe Flacco, I mean, with Joe Flacco replacing Joe Burrow, maybe number 1. CeeDee Lamb has to become a huge part of this offense immediately. George Pickens has already become a huge part of this offense in CeeDee Lamb's absence, but so has Fournoy, so has Ferguson, so has Tolbert. This can be the most explosive passing game in all of football, and that's how they should approach this game. Last week, we watched the Carolina Panthers slow down Javonte Williams. That should not happen going forward because you're going to have to pay attention to the skilled players on the outside. Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. And you know, Stephen A., you said it. This team has to score 30-plus points to win, and that's how they should attack.
Let me tell you what I'm surprised neither one of y'all brought up. The fact that George Pickens has been rolling so well, that CeeDee Lamb coming going to have an effect. I'm not casting aspersions on him. We all know the temperamental issues he was known to have in Pittsburgh for whatever reason. In my estimation, probably because he didn't have a quarterback like Dak Prescott throwing him the damn football. Okay, we get that part. The flip side to it is, nevertheless, approaching a contract year, balling out the way that he has, looking for his paper, like Cam pointed out, as individuals, looking for your paper. Why haven't we broached the possibility that CeeDee Lamb could have a potentially negative impact because it requires them to share, and how receptive is George Lynch going to be to, George Pickens going to be to that? I
just feel like only negative that can come from going or the addition to CeeDee Lamb is all ego.
I agree. That's what I'm talking about,
I'm
ego.
CeeDee and I'm seeing what George Pickens does and has been doing, knowing what I know about CeeDee.
Yes. He's a good brother.
He's excited because now who you going to double? Who you going to focus on? Last night's game, perfect example. When Joe Flacco threw it to the middle of the field, forget the receiver's name.
Yoshi Vash.
Yoshi. When both of the safeties bracketed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, hello, what do you do? He went to where the defense told him to go, right? When you have George Pickens on one side, then you have CeeDee Lamb on another side, what do you run?
Well, I will say this before I go back. I'll give you the last word, RC, but I'll go to this. It helps that CeeDee Lamb got his money. If both of them were looking for their money, we'd
It'd
have
be
a problem.
trouble.
But the fact that CeeDee Lamb got his money,
Yeah.
he can have that attitude because he can afford to, because he's getting his bag. Now you want your dude to get his bag.
Well, I think the big thing is I love that Cam brought up T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase not only work well together, they got the same agent.
Yeah.
Right? So you had the same person asking a team for multiple millions of dollars, and they got it done because T. Higgins wanted to stay there. Because he understands that there's going to be some fruit that falls from this tree or some shade that falls from this tree that eventually allows me to get in the sunshine.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that can happen with CeeDee Lamb and also George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb needs to take targets away from Fournette and Tolbert and Ferguson, not necessarily George Pickens when the matchup is his.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Last word?
No, but yeah, I'll say that. Then when you see an athlete fighting for his contract or fighting for his career on his contract year, it's a different type of stress and opportunity. But George Pickens has been delightful to watch.
Yes.
As a fan and knowing him personally, it's been amazing to see his growth.
Brother can play.
No, for sure.
He's always been this talented, and if you ask anybody in Dallas, because I've asked the question, he's been a model citizen since arriving there.
Yeah, that's what happens when you got somebody to throw you the ball. This is simple. It's not complicated. It really isn't. Will the Eagles get back on track after? That's right. We have a lot of fun here. It's been a great week here on First Take. Now let's welcome in Joe Fortenbaugh to help get you paid this weekend. Joe, list number one on the list. The Eagles are looking to snap a 2-game losing streak where they take on the Vikings. Who do you like in that matchup, sir?
They will not be snapping that losing streak. RC, could I present to you Minnesota plus 2.5? One thing about Philadelphia under Nick Sirianni, not a resilient bunch. 7-14 against the spread, off a loss under the Sirianni tenure. That goes for Jalen Hurts as well. Speaking of Mr. Hurts, what does he struggle with? The blitz. 24th in the NFL in quarterback rating against the blitz. Should that matter this week? Very much so, because Minnesota is number 3 in blitz rate. It is a problem, this matchup. On the road against a Viking team that has 2 weeks to get ready here, we like the Vikings, RC.
I'm going to be honest. I think this is an extremely difficult matchup for the Eagles. You have to believe that Kevin Patullo, the offense coordinator, can make these adjustments. But from what we've seen from this team, I agree with Joe. This is going to be a very difficult game for this offense.
I disagree with both of y'all. I'm going with the Eagles on this one. I'm going to tell you why I think Kevin Patullo has to change things up. Because if he doesn't, he might not be long for that job. I mean, you threw the ball 71 times, ran it 31 times over the last 2 weeks. After the first 4 weeks, running the football more. What's your identity? When you have questions about that, trying to figure out who the Super Bowl champions are, something's wrong with you because you're the new ingredient. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, all of these cats, they've been there. He's new to this mix. I think he switches it up this week. I think the Eagles make amends. Otherwise, he could be on the way out.
Every week with this. Just
there we go. Work with me here. Number 2 on the list. Mike Vrabel makes his return to Tennessee as the Patriots visit the Titans. What's the play there, Joe?
All Patriots laying wood. We laid the 6.5 here. This is a revenge game, plain and simple, for Mike Vrabel, who was fired by this team in January of 2024 after, I believe, 5 years on the job. What you'll want to watch is an example of Vrabel getting his revenge earlier in his career. Does anyone remember 2021 against Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars? Look at that handshake. You remember that? Meyer had Vrabel on his coaching staff at Ohio State. Apparently, he didn't even remember that Vrabel was on the coaching staff. Vrabel talked about it openly, how bad that experience was, wanted to stick it to him. Beat him 20-0. Meyer was fired 4 days later.
Hey,
They're putting him on him here.
Listen,
That's a handicap
you
right
saw
there.
Urban Meyer's face. He didn't even want to look up. Petty Mike Vrabel is my favorite Mike Vrabel, but he also has a team that can back him up right now. Drake May ascending more than any second-year quarterback in all of football, a defense that is getting after it, especially up front, and a wide receiver group that's coming along. Oh, by the way, we heard someone say it in Tennessee. Cam Morris said, I'm going to keep it a buck. We ass.
There we go. Here's the deal. I agree with y'all. It is what it is. I could take more time, but that would be just me trying to steal camera time, and I would never do that.
No, you ain't got it. No.
Good morning, America. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. College football. Big game in the SEC as number 11 Tennessee visits number 6 Alabama. How are you picking that game, Joe?
Camera time. More camera time. All right, let's get focused back in here. We like the dog. It's not all bad for the state of Tennessee. We will take the Vols here plus the 8.5. Big number, tricky spot for Alabama. 4th huge game in a row. They're at Georgia. Then they come home. They have the revenge game against Vanderbilt, which comes down to the wire from a spread perspective. Then they got to go to Mizzou last week and handle that business, which was close. Now you got to get ready for the #1